Hey everyone, it's Andy Petronic, co-founder of the Whole Life Challenge, and I'm here today to take you through a follow-along 10-minute mobility sequence that you can use whether you're doing the Whole Life Challenge, not doing the Whole Life Challenge. It's going to take you through the areas of your body that are typically left tight after a long day at work. Now, let's talk a little bit about why mobility is so important. I don't care how old you are. That's not entirely true. If you're 7 years old, you probably don't notice. But if you're an adult, you probably notice part of your body getting tighter each day. You notice your inability to bend over and touch your toes. You notice that your back starts to hurt when you get out of the car. You notice that after a long day, you feel like the Tin Man walking around your life. As you get further and further along in your life, your body starts to shut things down that it's not using. So if you spend 8 hours a day sitting in a desk chair, guess what? Your body's going to stop using the full length of your muscles in certain parts of your body. Your hamstrings, your quads, your hip flexors, your thoracic spine. It's going to start to extend things that are constantly being stretched. So it's really important from a longevity standpoint to start to work on reducing or even reversing some of those effects of aging. So, like I said, it doesn't matter how old you are. You can slow down those effects if you're 20, and you can stop them and maybe even reverse them if you're in your 40s or 50s or 60s or however old you are. So now you're going to notice I'm going to go a long way away from the camera because I want you to be able to see my full body. Now we're going to go through these movements. They're going to be about 30 seconds each, and you're just going to walk through it with me and do the best you can at keeping up. If you find an area that you don't know how to do, look, you've got a video. You can pause it, you can rewind it, you can go back and watch it again. So I encourage you to do that until you get it down and you can adopt this as your own mobility sequence. All right. So we're going to start off with, I've got my stopwatch and my long cable for my microphone. So the first thing is going to be a standing thoracic cat-cow. So here we go. Hands clenched in front, rounding the shoulders, and then reversing, extending and pulling back. And we're just going to go back and forth for about 30 seconds. Nothing too intense. You're just moving your upper back, rounding forward, and extending backwards. And after we're done this, we're going to go right into a side bend. So one arm up over your head, and you're just going to reach. You're going to, with the hand that's down, you're going to try to reach down the side of your leg as far as you can. And with the hand that's up and over, you're going to reach across as far as you can. Your body weight should shift into this side, and you want to push your hips that way. And we're coming up to the end, and now we're going to switch sides. So the other hand goes up over your head. This hand reaches down, hips push out the opposite direction, and we're just going to hang out. Remember, when you're stretching, don't push it too hard, too fast. So you want to ease into this. And as you breathe, as you warm up, as you get more supple, as the mobility routine goes on, you'll be able to move a little bit better. Okay, next we're going to go down into a lunge. So I'm going to move over to my yoga mat, and let's go with a left foot forward first. You can do the lunge from a toe up position and a knee off the ground position, or a knee on the ground, either one you want. Your goal is to push your hips forward, but keep your hips tucked under, so that you don't have a big extension in your lumbar spine. And we're just pushing everything forward. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to drop into a forward bend in this position. And I'm going to bend my inside elbow and try to reach my inside elbow down toward the ground. Again, you can do this whole thing with your back knee up and off the ground. With every breath you take, trying to sink a little bit deeper. And the next thing we're going to do is come up into a twist. So We're going to take that bent elbow and we're going to reach. And you can do this to the extent that you're able as well. If you need to come down to your back knee, great. If you want to move your feet further apart to give yourself a deeper stretch at this point, that's good too. If you can only get to here, hey, all good. Another more advanced option is to twist the opposite direction. It's much harder. You can try it if you want. All right, after this, we're going to go back and forth. So now we're moving from the bent position to the twisted position. And we're just going to do this slowly for 30 seconds. Again, we're staying on the same side for all these movements. We're really stretching the hip flexors, both hips. You're going to feel this where you're tightest. Okay, next we're going to push back. So straight knee forward, body nice and tall, hinge forward. Keeping that knee locked, toes either pulling toward your head or away, it doesn't really matter. You could even go back and forth if you wanted to, but this is a full-on hamstring stretch. And notice my back is flat or arched. Next, we're going to go into a rounded back. So now I'm going to round down. Just changes things a little bit. And I'm going to hang out down here. Again, using my breath to let myself, with each breath I take, go a little bit deeper into the stretch. We're not doing any advanced stretching here, no PNF stretching. If you know how to do that, you're welcome to add it. This is just a warm-up, a real general mobility sequence to do on your own. The next thing we're going to do is move down, same leg forward, into a 90-90 position. 90-degree bend at the left knee, 90-degree bend at the back knee. You'll be able to see that better when we switch sides. You're going to rotate your shoulders so they're parallel to the front shin and lean forward. A lot of versions of this you can adapt to where you are. And we're going to stay in this one for a minute. All right, so I'm going to be able to show you a couple additional things. If you want to rotate up on that back leg, this is, if you're a yoga person, this is called Pigeon. And you'll really feel that back in your glute. Again, you're rotating those shoulders. The next thing we're going to do is switch sides and go into the lunge with the right foot forward. So here we go. Right foot forward, lunge. Again, hips are tucked under, pushing that whole lower body forward. Good, you can come up onto the back toe if you want to. Your choice. Gentle at first. Breathe as your body warms up. Move deeper, sink deeper. Okay, now we're going into that same bent forward lunge with the inside arm hanging bent. If you're really flexible, you're probably putting that forearm on the ground, the elbow on the ground. You can tell this is not a great one for me. I'm not that flexible. Stretching and mobilizing is a really cool thing because you get to know your own body. You get to know what works and what doesn't work and what's most effective for you. Okay, here we go into the twist. And like I said, you can change positions on this. We're holding for 30 seconds. Trying to feel the twist rotate all the way up your thoracic spine. And then we're going to move into the back and forth. So we're going to go from bent forward to up. I just lifted my back foot off the ground. Again, make adjustments as you see fit. As you do this day after day, you're going to get to make adjustments to this. Okay, next we're gonna go to a kneeling stretch. Same position, but locked front knee, right? I'm gonna pull my hips so they're parallel to the front of the mat, and I'm hinging forward. Notice my back is not rounded at this point. You can point your toe forward, you can pull your foot back, and you should feel this somewhere behind the knee or in the belly of the hamstring behind your quad. The next thing we're going to do is round forward. And it's just going to change it a little bit, maybe make it a little bit more intense. And you can move back and forth if you want to. That's a nerve stretch. You're actually stretching some of the nerve tissue back there. Just hanging out here for 30 seconds, not a long stretch. The next thing, if you remember, we're going into the 90-90. So here we go. 90-degree bend at the front, 90-degree bend at the back, rotating the shoulders parallel to the front, the shin, and then stretching down in the direction of your femur, your front femur. You can try changing the direction that you stretch, see where it hits. And the other thing you can do is straighten out that back leg and come forward like this, and this becomes pigeon. And you'll feel that a little bit more, perhaps, in the rear glute. Or I'm sorry, the front leg glute. We got about 10 more seconds. The last thing we're going to do, and this will wrap things up, we're going to spend 1 minute, which will take us to 10 minutes and 30 seconds, in a butterfly forward bend. Okay, here we go. So you're going to put your feet together. Now, if this is all you got, that's great. You want to grab your toes. You're pulling yourself forward. What I like to do, it's a little bit more advanced, is I like to grab underneath my legs. And now my hands are on my toes, and I'm pulling myself down. Don't feel bad if you can't do this. There are many mobility things that I cannot do. This happens to be one that I can. We got about another 20 seconds to go, and we'll be done. So as you can see, this is a really quick and easy way to hit pretty much every part of your body that gets tight at the desk or gets tight in sitting in a car. Okay, let's wrap it up. That's 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Great way to warm up at the beginning of the day. It's a great way to end your day. It's a great way to calm things down at the end of your day before bed. Maybe not right before bed, an hour before bed. I encourage you guys, stick with this routine or a routine for a long stretch of time. It takes your body a while to start to make the adaptations it needs to. And if you're making changes to your mobility routine all the time, it's very often that you're not going to notice a big difference. So that's it. I hope you follow along. I hope you continue to use this video repeatedly to suppleize your body, to borrow a phrase from Kelly Starrett and Mobility WOD, and to make your body feel better. All right, guys. See you in the challenge.